The most recent episode of The Rookie appeared to be about a presidential visit, but it took a more intimate approach in what could have been a case of extremely bad timing. The current White House inhabitant and law enforcement in American localities are currently the subject of intense discussion. But the criminal of the week had a more commonplace but no less terrible objective than assassinating the president. The Rookie characters are able to do what they do best in this story: protect innocent people and rescue lives, even that of their prey. The Season 8 opening created network TV history by bringing its ensemble to Prague, following the last-minute return of Bridget Regan's Monica Stevens in the previous season. While police officers from Los Angeles are working in the scenario in the European nation is somewhat extravagant. Fast Andy brings the action home, as The Rookie is renowned for. Many of the characters end up in new responsibilities and relationships, both personal and professional. This raises the possibility that Lieutenant Wade Gray, played by Richard T. Jones, will leave the program. Miles Penn, Deric Augustine, a hilariously foolish criminal who attempts to become a criminal informant but is ultimately an afterthought in an emotional and action-packed episode, gives the episode its title. Now in its 7th season, Nathan Fillion's network procedural is off to a strong start. Sergeant Lucy Chen was a touch depressed about moving out of her previous residence in tonight's episode of The Rookie. Moving in with her partner made her happy. Although she was pleased to take that significant step, it was difficult to let go of her previous existence. At first, she and Jackson shared the apartment. Next, Tamara. Celina came next. She has consistently chosen to stay. Now it was her turn to leave. Her former room was being occupied by Miles. Since he didn't actually have a bed, she allowed him to keep it. Until then, he lived in a car in a parking lot. Everyone now had the opportunity to be joyful. Even Lucy's boyfriend was starting a new project. Tim was going to take over as watch commander. He was replacing Sergeant Gray, who had left to work with the FBI on a combined task team. With the squad, Tim was much harsher. Additionally, he offered 2 detectives without being asked. Nyla and Angela were not pleased to be abruptly assigned to a Secret Service task force. It was an order, therefore they still had to comply. The president was in Los Angeles. They had to collaborate with the Secret Service advance team to eliminate any potential dangers. The detectives weren't even given the respect of working the top of the list of suspects. They had to start at 20 and under. The Secret Service practically said they will handle everyone deemed far more dangerous. Miles offers nothing in return for his promises of help. He promised to be a great buddy to him. Easy Andy interpreted it to mean that he could see whether Fast Andy's ex-girlfriend was available or cancel if she had gained weight since their breakup. Then he spent the entire day sending memes to Miles. Fast Andy attempted to loot a dispensary later on. He was apprehended and put in a standoff with the police. He informed them of his. Only the men in suits underestimated Jerry Hudson. The detectives were sent to check in on him and they found suspicious activity at his house. They were forced to enter. They found he had a bunch of guns with one missing. The one missing was marked as the sniper rifle. They knew because he had everything labeled. He had a problem with spelling, but indeed everything from labeled. It was all put away in the correct spot. Everything was neatly and flawlessly organized by him. It revealed a lot about him. It also said he posed a threat. The Secret Service was told by the police. Each of them started investigating Hudson. For him, there was a citywide alert. They were promptly told that he had been seen at St. Stephen's Hospital. He suffered a head wound, which he disregarded in order to repel the physicians and flee before the cops arrived. At the hospital, Hudson had no weapons. When he realized he couldn't return home, his next play was to retrieve his weapon. They brought his car to an impound lot. Nolan went there with his new rookie to confront him. Miles believed they would defeat him there since the hospital was half a mile away. Hudson had a head wound and was walking. He was the only one who seemed motivated because he was the first to reach his automobile. He reached for his firearm. He opened fire on the police. He got away in a tow truck. Fortunately, Miles was only mildly hurt because he had to return to work. Kevin Kelvin, a Secret Service agent, was assigned to the Los Angeles Police Department. There were many similarities between him and Celina. Both of them were followers of New Age mysticism. He was a Cancer. She was an Aries. There was only one problem. Kelvin thought he was the Abraham Lincoln was reborn. For Celina, it was too much. Celina recalled that she had never been well known in any of her previous incarnations. According to her, those who thought they were famous in a previous life were acting egotistically. Not a genuine belief. None of them could be Cleopatra. Kelvin's explanations for joining the Secret Service made logical. Celina was also informed that his head was abnormally large. When Miles got into trouble, Celina was telling him about it. Miles was meant to enlist a criminal informant. Because the president was visiting, his TO didn't want him to disregard his probie checklist. Thus, Miles hired a person by the name of Fast Andy. Miles stated he understood when Nolan attempted to convince him that he was not intelligent. Back in Texas, he also did this. He didn't realize how foolish Fast Andy was.